Extra is digging deeper into the war in Ukraine right now. We want to talk to an expert about Russia and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Joining us live is Associate Professor of Political Science at Oregon State University, Sarah Henderson. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, you have written about Putin's Russia, his vision of Russia. So why does Putin want to take over Ukraine? What's the end game here?
That's a really good question, and that's something I think we're all still trying to figure out. He published an essay in August about Ukrainian history and how it has always been an essential part of Russia. Now, this is a version of history that Ukraine and probably most Ukrainians would dramatically disagree with, but I think more broadly, he wants to return Russia to a great power status and somehow reconfiguring Russia to kind of earlier 18th and 19th century sort of boundaries of Ukraine and Belarus is part of that vision for him.
Interesting. Well, we've seen tactics by NATO nations putting these economic sanctions on Russia. Now, we've seen, like President Biden and other NATO nation leaders saying that they will not put troops in Ukraine. They will only use troops unless a NATO nation is, in fact, attacked. So these economic sanctions are the tactic that they are using. Are these working, or will they eventually work if they're not getting the job done now?
Well, so I think it depends on what you mean by work. So I think most sanctions experts would say that sanctions aren't going to immediately deter, say, someone like Vladimir Putin from something that's a core issue, like reestablishing control in Ukraine for Russia. But will it really raise the cost for what Russia is doing? Definitely. Will it indirectly put pressure on Russia? Yes. I think also the other thing to think about is that China is a country that's watching very carefully what's going on right now between Russia and Ukraine and the global response. So I think also it's important for the West to sort of demonstrate unity and also a concerted effort to try to show that there are costs for trying to annex territory.
Do we have any idea of knowing how much the Russian people know about what's going on in Ukraine? Because Putin has really clamped down on the media there.
That's really true. And that's been going on steadily since 2012 when he returned to office in kind of what I call Putin 2.0, his second run. And so I think this is really the big tragedy is I don't think Russians themselves support this war. Russians themselves did not push for this war, but Russians really have limited opportunity to protest this war and to get real information about this war. So it's really difficult because there's no independent television station that operates across Russia that can provide alternative news. The Kremlin has increasingly issued regulations that make it difficult for alternative sources of media to get the news out. In fact, right now, it's illegal to refer to the war as a war or an invasion. And also in terms of protests, there are extremely high economic penalties and also chances of serving in prison for turning out at an unsanctioned protest. And you can imagine almost any protest against the invasion is not sanctioned by the Kremlin. So the fact that there are people turning out at all on the streets of Russia is a real act of bravery.
It's quite the situation out there. Plus, you talk about information getting in and out of Russia. Governments can, in fact, put blocks on internet information as well. So there's, it seems like, you could look at social media, but it's just not that simple in Russia right now to get that alternate information.
And that is correct. So last week, the Russian government was just sort of slowing down the ability for people to download pictures, putting a lot of pressure on Facebook and Google in terms of what information it could even make available. And I think over the weekend, now news sources such as BBC, Meduza News, which is a Russian journalist based but works out of the Baltics, and two other news sources, Dozhd and Echo Moscow, which is kind of the last big independent radio station, have been shut down. So it's really hard for Russians. They have to work a lot harder to get any kind of information about the war.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Sarah Henderson, sobering interview here. There's a lot going on over there, and hardly any of it is good. We thank you for being with us from Oregon State University.
And thank you for taking the time.
Yes.
Appreciate it.